So welcome to today. We are going to do a couple things. I know the main topic, soul healing, using the soul star that we are and working with the star systems. And that Katriel's going to chime in a couple places on that. And all is self, things with 3D, 4D, 5D. So let's begin. Let's just first tune in. Bring yourself here, all the way here. Imagine that you want to put your hands on your heart or hands in a certain mudra. So typically, if you want a visual, you're looking at a tetrahedron on the top and a tetrahedron on the bottom. And so this, the Merkaba, the light ship, the light body ship, that is a vehicle for travel. We used to use these in travel. We still do, but we're just remembering. It spins, like I said, I like to tell my consciousness to have it spin at the appropriate rate and frequency. And one will go in one direction, the other will go in the opposite. So I want you to play with that. If you were to look at Drumbelow Melchizedek's books, Flower of Life 1 and 2, you would have in the back of the book, I think volume 1, he goes over a very long procedure to have the Merkaba do its thing. I mean, sometimes he has to get it really big, the field gets really big. I just want us to start to understand that.
I have a picture? Yeah. Maybe that will help.
Oh yeah, thank you. That's pretty.
I just want us to realize that we're super quantum speed at the moment. It doesn't have to take long. It can take just a request, and things are it's listening. Your whole existence is listening for your commands, for your spoken word. Whether it's a spoken word or a thought, that command is going to come on, and it's going to get easier and more attainable for you to actually have it come visible, even with your eyes open. Now that you're attuned to it, you're going to start seeing these around people. At least I am right now around you all. Hello. So the other thing I wanted to talk about before I move on is that the first 8 cells, so there's a little Merkaba or a little tetrahedron, and then the second of the 4 cells that make up 8 creates a little Merkaba at your perineum. And those first 8 cells that form 49 days when you're in utero, those first 8 cells stay with this incarnation until you pass on. They stay with the body. And so they're kind of that beginning point that is helping the emanation and the vibration and the actual projection of your light ship, of your Merkaba. So, you have that down there at your base to work with. And essentially when the Kundalini, that dormant energy at the perineum as well, the 3.5 spiral of energy, when it erupts, meaning some of you have had it through sex, have it erupt. Some of you have had it erupt through an orgasm on your own. Some of you did deep breathing, you did yoga, something, Kundalini yoga, and it opened up and you just felt like, whoa, something maybe in here. You felt your full spine sometimes feel like very fiery. There's different responses or shares from many people, but that energy is being moved from these 8 cells. And so when you have old things that are very ancient, meaning you've been working on stuff for a long time and something like erupts and comes forth from the very deep base of your spine. What's your base spine energy center deal with?
Fear and survival.
Fear and survival. So you may come around the bend. You've been doing this healing artwork for your whole life, and all of a sudden you're ready for the next Kundalini movement and the next base of your spine to literally undo this energy, and you may have ripple out some old records that are like, really, we're still dealing with this? For mine, you guys witnessed mine last week around hiding and like people not liking me and all that self-worth stuff. Literally my whole lower body was like wiggly jiggly, like I felt like I couldn't walk. My base of my spine was like achy and fiery. So my point is, it happens with groups. You could be with a group. Someone in your group could be releasing and evolving and growing, and as a group we may all feel it together. But the records are really stored in that physical matter of those first 8 cells. Essentially, it's stored everywhere in your aura, all the way, everything. But I just want us to kind of make this connection now with the Merkaba and the first 8 cells. Yeah? I'm hearing things can change as there's different maneuvers going on.
Okay.
So that would be fun to really do some investigation. But in this technique that I was like brought back to my awareness to talk to you guys again about it today, it's clockwise on the top, counterclockwise on the bottom. That this man, Jerry Sargent's instructions was, 2 times the rate on the bottom tetrahedron and counterclockwise. 1 time with the 1 time spin clockwise on the top. But what I've always been guided from my own intelligence is to tell myself, please spin at the appropriate rate and frequency. And then that way I can kind of learn from it and not give the answer or the command that maybe isn't what I need. Essentially, the Drunvalo Melchizedek books of Flower of Life, which are great books, they're very technical, very physics-minded. He's got some very specific instructions that are not as simple as, 1 time counter or clockwise for the top one, 2 times the rate counterclockwise for the bottom tetrahedron. I feel like this is, everything's all one, but I feel like this is kind of its own entity. It's like it's its own, it's part of your aura essentially.
Okay.
And it's your travel vehicle. So just as we would build out, a new technology around you ethereally, like you're saying, oh, my new spaceship, it's got it's all pink and it goes out about 8 feet. By you thinking that and saying that, it is like you're creating that to exist. So this is why your own inner investigation is so powerful for your own sovereignty and for you to really play with your magic. And then ask instructions. Get instructions. It's so fun. Okay, anything else? Okay. So that's not really what I wanted to talk about totally today. So let me go over what I had. So they want me to go over 3D. So 3D. When we're talking about 3D, we've got length, height. So 1, 2, and if we're looking at, like a cube, the width, right? Length times height times width. That's the 3D terms. As soon as we add in 4D, we're talking about time. So we are adding in one more depth. So this is like a cube now, once I've did length times width times height. This is width. So as soon as I add in 4D, now I'm adding in another axis of symmetry, and I'm adding in more definition that literally creates time. It creates this cube to start spinning. So 4D is that spin of time, which essentially, there is no time. If we're looking at quantum mechanics, there's parallel realities. There's a cube here and a cube here. This cube is facing front. This cube already started to spin, so we memorize it and we print it out, and it's turned to the right a little bit. Does that make sense? I want that to really make sense. Does everybody understand what I mean by 4D now?
Mm-hmm.
Sorry. Do you want to repeat yourself?
Let me just come back. So we're talking, Spirit really want us to understand 3D, right? So height times length times width. That is 3D. Height times length times width. So here I am. I'm not moving. Kind of. You can take measurements. As soon as I start to move, now we're creating time. We're taking 4D. It's temporal. It's got movement to it. So if we're looking at time of this cube, if I roll the cube, it's like a dice. Then through time, if I roll that dice, the dice is facing this way right here. And then this next version of reality, it's facing a little, you're seeing the one, 2 little dots on the other side. And another one, you're seeing the 6 dots, right? You're seeing it move. So this, let me change my color. So 4D essentially is doing a spiral of movement. And this is time. Okay? So 3D standing still, you can measure it, length times width times height, but 4D it starts to spin. So when we talk about parallel nows, if there's no time, then essentially we're just saying that in 4D, you're able to see parallel nows, parallel realities. You're able to see this one, then this one, then this one. You're able to see this one, and this one, and this one. This is a higher one, this is a much higher one, higher frequency, right? So this is hertz. This is hertz, this is frequency, low to high, parallel realities. This one is what we would have called time, because it's the spiral moving. And if we're out of time, which we figured out the matrix, then we realized they were parallel nows. This is a now, this is a now, this is a now. The dice is facing 1 dot here, 2 dots here, 3 dots here. Okay? This is me standing like this. This is me going like this, right? So the frames of receptivity, each frame you're seeing is essentially a different parallel now. Like you see on your phone or your recorder, it'll say, do you want to save this as 30 frames per minute or second, 40 frames per second, 60, meaning it's like how much are they going to capture? So that spin is our 4D. It is time or it is parallel nows. And each time we are aware of these parallel nows, we can also start to understand where we are in frequency and where we are in a parallel now. So before I go there though, the last thing I wanted to say was 5D. So what is 5D?
Is it like going up and seeing it all?
Yeah, it's space.
I heard a teacher, spiritual teacher, say just a day or so ago that really, like, there after 4D there is no D's because that's just like a measurement.
Yeah.
And so there isn't really measurement like that.
Yeah. So it's all of it. It goes from particle to wave. So 5D is the whole space, which is why we do Akashic Records here, because Akash means space, means ether, means wave, means all of it. And we're looking for the particleization of information holding you or somebody in time and helping them jump into new levels of themselves and be out of the bindings altogether by being 5D. So in 5D, there's no time. There's just a witness. There's the presence. It's like, here it all is. You know things are temporal. So if you drop down in frequency, meaning when you close your eyes, it's really easy to understand 5D. It's all space. There's nothing there. When you open your eyes, then you drop down in frequency and you start particleizing because the observer observes things going on right now and we see all of us sitting here. So if I can stay big and literally even hold my eye gaze really big, and you guys could say all kinds of things and I don't even flinch, right? Like Buddha. And you just hold space, then you're holding that 5D presence. You're holding space. You realize you're not just sitting right in the body. You realize you can make that plant leaf move over there. You're aware that you literally are the weather. You're everything. So they just want me to really get that home. Do we get it? Yes.
What's 60?
So then we're looking at just, again, these higher frequency wave planes. So 60, the angelic realm, is what I feel the 60 realm is.
Yeah.
The celestials, we're then able to tap in. And you may, because you've just like memorized fairy tales, you may like see yourself as like these angelic being that has arms and legs, but essentially it's just, pure energy, pure packets of wave holding higher frequency, which is holding higher consciousness, which is holding higher information of knowing.
So instead of even using the words like the 5D, 6D dimensions, would it better to just say frequency? Like,
You could, and this is what's so cool about consciousness. It's like consciousness, like when I'm asking questions, I have to ask those types of things. Okay, do you want me to talk in dimensions? Yes. Is it 6D? No. 7D? No. 8D? No. 8, 9? Yes. Well, what's on the 9D? Knowing yourself as a Pleiadian consciousness. Are we supposed to tell everybody that? Yes. Is that important for today? Yes. So now we're starting to tie in the other part of what that we talk about, which is the star systems and different, star races that have, and the higher level stories that we've discovered, like we talked about the Kathara grid, the blueprint of the crystalline being, the angelic being that humans were and fell from grace. We start looking at, well, how are those energies affecting, through story, me now? Is there bindings held in place that I need to start tapping into my 9th dimensional consciousness of the Pleiades? Yes. So I'm doing a real unwinding right now. Will that help us grow as a community? Yes. You'll lose a lot of the fear that were left over in different star constellations that no longer holding war type energies. I don't even know what I just said, but
well, I think of like Orion was one of the more warring type races.
the war in that warring story, which is what spirit, this undoing for myself this last week, the main code that came through was the story of Orion and the 7 sisters of the Pleiades. That story itself, I need to look at personally, and maybe because you guys are with me right now, I need to look at it and rewrite it to be a happier story so that I'm not holding that as my base anymore. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So it's like looking at the lore and the stories and the fairy tales and upgrading them all, because a lot of them are embedded in this lifetime and other lifetimes, especially when we're going to start talking about constellations, because they are literally stories in the sky. And so if those stories in the sky are not benefiting you now, meaning it's still creating kind of war or division, then how can you upgrade it a little bit? You know, how can you see it new?
Without understanding, we can't move forward.
Yeah. And this is why all of our ancestors, at least as far as I can, receive these stories passed down, they studied the stars. They looked to the stars. They knew the stars, frequencies, codes, to be following their creation of the projection of reality. And as soon as we lost touch with that and the mind wipe, literally, then we're bound by what we don't know. Again, I would always ask you what that means to you, but from what I would receive is like, yeah, when you're holding space, holding presence, you're holding that 5D bigger wave, meaning you don't have a strong point of view. So when we're holding presence, it's our goal not to have a point of view, because you want to leave space like a big open wave for them to find their own truth or to have a healing, come undone. But if we're not, and we're like holding a point of view about it, of what we think it should be or what we need to say to them next, or we're feeling things, then maybe we're not ready to hold space. There's that. But let's say you are. You're like pure presence, you don't have a thought, you can stay just really neutral on your feelings. You holding that grand space, a healing can happen. They can literally come undone on the table or in front of you, or you could be at the grocery store, like you're holding space. People are just having like awakenings. Miracles are happening because you're holding the space at a higher frequency, 5D and above, which is faster, for them to go, oh, wait a minute. Oh, today's a great day. And you get on the shopping cart, they start, getting on the edge and flying through.
The reason I'm asking is because that's one of my phrases. I always say I'm holding space, but to be honest, I didn't know what that meant.
Yeah.
And you just kind of explained
Cool.
the logistics behind
Yeah.
what I was doing.
Then you can feel your body just relax.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Okay. Let's get rid of the scribbles. And we're going to come back to the star stuff, but it started to come in. That's great. And this is why here we're doing a lot more higher self therapy technique. Even if you don't, it's hypnosis and regression, Akashic records, all the type of, every tool and technology that's going to help you regress. Spirit really wants us to spend the summer doing lots of trades. Of course, clients can come in and do these sessions, but it is a grand invitation, like, for us to be trading with each other and allow this stuff to come out. The things that need to be shared from our higher intelligence so that we can allow these things to unwind for our community. But for me, the mission is like for our community to literally be creating a ripple effect throughout the reality and holding up a column of light with other columns of light that are being held up at different energies or healing centers. And we are all holding this beautiful bridge, this, rainbow bridge that's like the flower of life, circle upon circle upon circle, that's holding a higher frequency, a higher plane, so that we get to experience more of the world, the new earth that already exists. So us taking a pause and really doing a lot more trades, like, realize how powerful that is. So just know everybody, like, we're all in on it. Who's in on that? It's so good. I just had one. Odette just did, work with me on prosperity, but she's not a but. And she wants to do more trades on the prosperity script for sure. Because that means a lot. Abundance of all kinds. Okay. So, where are you seeing from 5D to 3D? Okay. I wanted then just to remind you, I do this drawing a lot. These little bugs, we must be digging up some stuff today. So you have let's say this is your higher self, your bigger self. This is Hertz frequency. This is also looking at 1, 2. This is the first energy center, the second energy center, right? So these are the door holes. Like if you're going up an elevator, this is the 4th, the heart, the 5th, throat, 5D, what you speak into creation, 6th, the angelic, 7, the crown or the causal. So if we're just looking at the typical 7, then this bigger being is a bigger being. That means if the bigger being is are they finite and looking at just like strong points of view? No. They're big. They're presence holders. They're holding the whole thing, right? So they're able to come out of all door holes at once. They're able to stabilize it all. They don't have a strong feeling or point of view. If you do, then it's okay. It just means you drop down small. If you trigger, typically it's like you went down to this small version of yourself. Let's say I told you a story. I triggered at my 1. It was kind of at 2. But I literally felt it viscerally in my body, my root and below. Then that means I'm not just, but it's like I'm identifying with this small version of myself. I'm vibrating lower, and I'm literally in this lower point of view that is operating and moving from the first energy center. That means I'm looking out the door hole from survival. And possibly fear. But mainly, it's like I'm not necessarily in this bigger sense able to see more clearly from the witness. I've gone down small. So you'll be able to feel your body, like literally you should feel where the energy is coming undone. And that can give you an idea, wow, this is really, okay, it's close to my first energy center, maybe it's close to my second. Man, that's a lot of dormant energy I've been holding, literal energy kinks down here around usually beliefs or false beliefs. And I've been holding it down here for so long, basing my whole reality on that strong point of view that I've been holding in my body. And maybe you didn't even know it. Maybe you just believed others in your family held those strong points of view. But for you to think others have the strong point of view, it means you also believe in it too, even though you're like so against it. So where you're going to feel it means you literally are shrinking down, and that's where you're at in the field. So I just want you to be aware of that. Does that make sense? Yeah.
What type of feeling are we supposed to have when we feel it?
I just mean like you feel it. Like maybe if your stomach's bothering you, then there's a lot of old point of views, unconscious, about self or other. That's literally, we're going to do an exercise today that's stored in the stomach or digestive system, but that also could be seen as, I don't have yellow, that also could be seen as, the solar plexus. So you literally have like a body sensation of like what you would have called some kind of ache or pain. Yeah. But it just made me feel like there's like instability. Like it just feels weird. Yeah. And essentially, it's really holding us and binding us if we were to look at these as the 3D. So what I love about this system that was shown to me is that, you can look at it as energy centers, you can look at it as realms, you can look at it as planes of existence, you can look at it as dimension, density, subtle bodies. This all equates, you can use this mapping system to kind of get a bigger picture and then ask consciousness, are you saying this is like keeping me stuck in like this, whatever the topic is? If you're looking at planes, realms, etc. So, and it's also keeping us in what? What is 1 through 4? What is 4D that we discovered?
Oh, you mean like
The spiral.
The time.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's keeping us bound in time. It's keeping it so that it's maybe not as easy to jump into a higher embodiment. It's keeping us expecting cycles to be the same every cycle. It's basing reality and projecting reality on time base, which is fun and all. But there's more. So we want to get these things when they come up, we want to deal with it. Who, what, when, where, why. If we only get a when or only get a what, awesome. Is that all I need to know? Yes. Okay, everything that's keeping me there, let me undo that, dissolve, dismantle, some kind of command to let it go. And then what's the upgrade? We need to always end on an upgrade. Rewrite it. Get a greater, the basis of this is get a greater understanding. What's the greater understanding of why I needed to have this happen? Where, the second most important thing, where did it begin? Greatest understanding. Second, where did it begin? Those are two really important things. You get those two things, you are going to have so much freed up energy in your body, in your field, and your ability to project reality at what you're wanting to happen, because you no longer, you then find the epicenter. So when you find out, okay, so I literally felt the energy down here. I asked consciousness, where did this begin? Truth, where did this one begin where I was hiding? Well, it was a past life, but I'm going to ask for this lifetime. Where did it begin this lifetime? 1 year old. So that means I'm going to go back in time, and here I am at 1 year old. So 1 year old me is holding the reality in place down here in this lower frequency, keeping me very 1D, keeping me very focused on survival. Am I going to survive? Can we pay the bills? All these like, what? I'm creating this whole reality. Of course, everything is working in my favor, but you can feel that trigger come in, or that little low thought comes in. So this was about me hiding or being hidden. And the original memory that I'm getting right now, it did say past life, but we're going to stick with this life, is 1 year old. Well, do I need to know who's there? Yeah, your mother and father. Your father was leaving. Okay. Is that all I need to know? No. You need to understand that he really didn't want to leave. He didn't want to leave you, but he felt like he had to. Oh, this is new information. Is that all I need to know? Yes. Wow. That frees a lot up. But this literally is also connected to what came undone. And it wasn't really even that theme. So it's interesting. You'll find that so much other things are so connected to these. But what am I looking for? I asked for a beginning point, a conception point. Where did this begin? So when you're able to find where things begin, then, and no, what's number 2? Where did it begin? What's most important? Second most important is, it's not in those order, but those 2 things.
When?
What's the understanding?
Oh, yeah.
So if you can find where it began and you can get a greater understanding, then your little light particles can come home. Your soul essence are photonic light. Yeah.
For the instance that happened here, like you asked, it said past life.
Mm-hmm.
What would be the benefit of actually identifying the conception point in this lifetime as opposed to the past life? Just curious.
Every understanding that you gather from them. So everyone you visit and you get a greater understanding, you get the lesson, the spiritual growth of why it happened.
Yeah.
Meaning, if I'm out of body and I'm back in the plane and I'm out of body, so-called transitioned, and I look down and I'm like, hey, I got this we're not out of time. I got this configuration of energy I want to work through. Let me go down, and this area, I'll be able to work on it with these 2 souls, mother and father. They're going to help me work out this configuration of energy. Then I dive down in. So I'm working on the configuration. There's obviously a complex configuration of spiritual lessons that I want to work on. But ultimately they're around, being pure love, knowing that we're like pure awareness, knowing that there's so much abundance. The other thing, but I have to believe that. I have to be projecting that. I got to be telling myself that new delusional story until it actually occurs. You have to be Delulu in this work. I promise you, if you can get over yourself and realize
True story.
that up here it's delusional,
Thank you for that.
but it's real. We just believe you're crazy and delusional because most of the 3D that are bound by, the 4D are projecting the same story on cycles, right? On repeat. It's a spiral.
Then what's really delusional?
And they're usually living it out, projecting it from past memories. They're telling themselves over and over again in the subconscious, so they memorized. If you can imagine it, right?
Yeah.
That's why I say give the keys back to the children, give their imagination back, because that's the way reality is created, is through the imagination. So I have to imagine that my father loves it, and then he does. He called me yesterday and said something amazing. Or no, he's texting, and then he was texting every hour.
Do you invite him in and he says?
Yeah, he's come, but he was he's come here, done Therify, but because I was in an old packet, he jumped and reverted to an old packet. So this life is not linear. It's when the packet is ready to come undone in you, then that's what was projected in front of you. And that's why I always tell you, what's ever being projected out in front of you from your pineal, you know what's going on in your world because whatever's going on in front of you, you're projecting out in front of you. It's like everything that's out here in front of you showing you. It's literally coming back. It's called biofeedback. We want to see where we're vibrating at. That will give us an idea of how much density is there, what part of the body it's stored in. We want to find the conception point, get the greater understanding. Because as soon as you have greater understanding and clarity, like, okay, spirit, why is this happening? Or why am I seeing this scene? What's the greatest message? You need to see that 7D and above is beyond comprehension. I was kind of asking, side note, I was asking, why did we bring up the 6D with Pleiades? It's like pure, just love, light, pure white light. 7D for me is like the white plane of light. It's like where there's nothing even, like when I had my second near-death experience and I was on 7D, It was pure white. I'm like, oh, I'm in the plane. And then here comes Christ's face, push up, right in my face. So that's where things start slowing down and particleizing in that heavenly space. Okay, coming back. I just want to get, okay, so where are you seeing from is what you want to ask, like, am I too triggered to actually spread out and do the work right now and hold space? If you are, that's okay. You can tell yourself, we're going to do a technique in a minute to work on yourself. You can, at your dream time, you can say, higher self, all my angels and guides, all your teachers, please help me as I go to sleep to work on this. Then once the greater understanding gets clear, these light particles that were bound up, literally holding you in time, having you at certain times of your experience all of a sudden act like a 1-year-old, feel like a 1-year-old. Like, that's what happens. It's like, you're like, why did that even happen? What is going on? And that memory is so bound and holding you in place in that way. So freeing these up is so powerful, because then this light comes home. And this comes undone. It literally can be erased. It can be upgraded. Like I said, you can then visualize a new memory that everything always works out for you, and every incarnation and every conception point is freed up. Whatever you want to do, you want to upgrade it. Get the greater understanding and then see something new. If it was a really tough early childhood or some past life, maybe you're sending, like, on a breath to all the beings involved, the greater understanding. And then all of a sudden you see all those souls evolving. That was, like, I think my last scene with Madette, like, all the souls got to evolve. This big veil got lifted off everybody. But you want to help it lift. You don't want to end on just, nothing shifting. That's going to then expand you and get you to actually be able to get out of time and at least start living from your heart, which means now, once you understand time, you're actually given access to parallel nows. You can then give an access to the 5D, to full space, to choose which parallel you're going to go live at. Which one you're going to embody. So if you go and find, hey, I want to be up here. This is my highest version self that no longer hides, who's totally seen. Everybody comes on in. And it's in the seemingly future. It's in a parallel now out here. But I can see myself there. I'm wearing these really pretty shoes. I've got this white golden dress on. Right, Madette? And I need to get up there. I need to embody that. So I see it. I feel it. And I'm just like, I am there. And then I literally merge into that. So now all this goes away and this is what's left. I'm at a higher frequency in a new timeline, in a new parallel now, beyond time, in a new parallel now, and I'm embodying it. Sound good? So this is what I meant by all is self. When something happens, do our best not to blame. Like, there's no one to blame. And you can blame. And if that's a part of your process, you need to get angry, righteous anger, and be like, I can't believe he did that to me. Do it. But then ask yourself these questions. Where did it conceive itself? Where did this really begin? Because the only thing that can happen to you is things that you're projecting from you. And you're a resonant match with it. You're the same frequency. Things can only happen down here because you're the same vibration of it. And as soon as you can heal that and find where it began and find your hand in it, meaning I'm creating this. And then people would say, well, no, they did this to me. Yeah, but you have to be in the same arena for it to even exist. So find why it's still there, or why it rose its head up after 20 years or something, so that you can heal it and then allow yourself to get big again. And with that all is self-consciousness, meaning this is happening through me, by me, for me, you will then not only free yourself and have a new trajectory, but everyone else can be freed up too. You can allow all the other souls to be free. because you could send them the understandings that you gleaned, that you got the download about. And you can see them new. You can see everyone involved is like doing awesome. This is why we add in our awesome statements, or everyone always everywhere. Like, I am always amazing at all my conception points. I have full realization at every conception point that ever could exist. I am fully alive and awake. I know who I am eternally. And so is everybody else. Okay. Now the last topic, and we're going to do a guided meditation, is Katriel, can you tell us about the star constellations and the star zodiacs and how they connect to
I'll
body?
start actually at the head.
Okay.
So, the beginning of our zodiac, for at least this age, is Aries. And so, if we look at our sheet, we have Aries at the top, and then over to the side it says governs the organ system. So it's actually the head. So when we think about like Aries and the ram, you know, and there's a correlation there. Hot-headed, have you heard of that? Ram energy, so that's like the lower vibrational aspect of it. But you know, that actually tells us something, you know, because like if we're having these moments, then we're tapping into this Aries energy, and there's something for us to change or shift, because also what comes from like the Aries energy is the inner child. And so we then can go into the imagination, which is often associated with the head. And then we go down through it. So after that is Taurus. So here's the head, but right below it is the neck, the throat, the vocal cords. So Taurus is connected to that area. And, you know, there's also like planetary rulerships. So originally Taurus was led by Venus. God bless you. So Venus energy is like this beauty. There's these, you know, there's sound, there's harmonics. So we can see the relationship with Taurus and the throat. And, you know, if you're having issues in this area, it's good to kind of like, all right, well, maybe where is Taurus in your chart? Where can we, you know, shift something? Maybe it has something to do with, like also throat, like food consumption. We can look into that area and find a new experience to shift that energy. But you can see as it goes down, then Gemini is the lungs, it's the shoulders, it's things in two. Cancer is connected to the stomach, the breasts, the chest. And we think about like the Cancer energy, it's connected to emotions. And we hold a lot of that stuff actually in the solar plexus. And it can, you can notice, you know, sometimes we may have like a belly ache. And so if we tune into what's bothering us emotionally, we can also shift that area. Leo is connected with the heart, also the spine and upper back. And so if we're having any issues in that area, even at like, have you ever had like that bone in your back kind of like get out of place?
That's the one I ripped out to yeah, I guess I was just telling her about that.
You know,
Sorry.
maybe it's like an invitation to explore that Leo energy, and where do I want to healthily express myself? Virgo, this is an interesting one. It's really in the digestive tract and intestines, and I have a Virgo father, and he's created a lot of stories around this type of, you know, negativity. and seeing him in the whole, you know, embodied light, you know. But we can, once we're aware of something and its connection to us, we want to be able to see it and then do these records, shift it. Libra, kidneys, lower back. Scorpio, reproductive organs, bladder. I'm a Scorpio. I've dealt with this stuff, you know, for the majority of my life. It's now starting to shift because I'm doing the inner work. Sagittarius is connected to the liver, the hips, the thighs. You think about the, you know, Sagittarius energy, the centaur. Oftentimes, you know, like, you know, that running energy. Sag always likes to be on the move, that fiery energy. It's an invitation to, like, okay, well, maybe I need to, like, stretch. You know what I mean? Capricorn is connected to the bones, the knees, the skin, the structure. So
have you ever heard Aquarius with skin?
Um,
For some reason, I thought I had heard that.
some, you know, some things are overlapping, and, you know, Capricorn and Aquarius are very close together. And so, like, it's not like one completely stops, you know, it's energetic. So, like, you know, if you've seen it as skin, I would pay attention to the spectrum of it, you know, because we do have overlaying models, and but when we can see a more of a spectrum, it can clear a lot. Yeah. Exactly that, like that. Thank you for doing that. And then Aquarius, you know, we're now in the age of Aquarius, so like, it's connected with the circulatory system, potentially the skin, and the ankles. And it's, you know, it also is showing us, okay, so it's a very large energy, and it's an air sign. So it might be a reminder to, like, tune in, like, ankles, it's part of our, you know, feet. It's not completely, you know, the actual feet, but it's here. So there's got to be some type of grounding on this earth to be able, because I've been really tuning into this lately. Pisces is connected with the feet and the lymphatic system, but what do we have at the bottom that we call it?
The soul.
The soul. So I have been working with doing some reflexology, and I feel like, because we go out and we walk, and, you know, and we're connecting with a lot of different energies, and when we do, like, a reflexology, we're, like, taking layers away, like, to transmute in the ether. And so it's a powerful one to work with, and though, you know, I'm not completely adverse with connected to this tradition, but both Muslim and Christians, you know, there was a huge focus point on the feet, washing the feet, and how important that was. And you guys might be able to say more about it. So, like, another reminder here is, just because you came into this line, or this life, as maybe a Pisces sun or Aquarius sun, we have all of these within us in different amounts. And so it's paying attention to what's wanting to speak, and how can we give it the love that it wants. And so it's a nice little fun way to do that. And then we have on the other side, now I will say I'm still learning a lot about the star systems, and what has come down is just downloads in regards to this. So Arcturus, or sorry, Delphi, is connected to third eye, inner insight, pineal gland. Arcturus is connected with the cellular regeneration, DNA activation. So like, you know, things we talked about a couple weeks ago with like the DNA, Arcturians probably were coming through and saying some stuff. Pleiades, you were talking about that white light, the heart and the womb and the emotional body, and you know how Pleiades is really helping us to be lifted up. They have a lot of codes to be able to heart center us, and deal at a deeper level and a lighter level in some ways, you know, like transmuting that emotional body.
Yeah.
And then Sirius is connected to the throat, the third eye, and blueprint activation. Orion connected to solar plexus, shadow integration. And then Lyra, the throat, the heart, the voice of the soul. And then the Alpha, you know, it's like really connecting with the crown chakra, all that, you know, exists. It kind of reminds me of like the Alpha Omega reminds me in Kabbalah of this Ein Sof energy, everything that's been and like everything that's without all at one time. So the beginning and end energies. But you know, I feel like in some ways what you could do is like really tune in to who is speaking, and then at that level be able to clear at multiple levels whatever is here, almost like doing
We're gonna do an exercise with it.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah.
There's so much you can do with
Yeah,
these.
there really
It's
is.
amazing.
You want to go over another part, or we want to do the exercise?
Yeah, let's, because I feel like the rests are connected to exercises.
And from Aries all the way to Pisces, it literally followed the body map. You know, I was able to point an arrow. I didn't have to like cross over an area. I was just like, if you could realize laying your head at Aries and your feet towards Pisces, like you're literally receiving those star codes. And so that's like us just using this avatar. But we're going to do an exercise in a minute where you're going to imagine a small version of you. And this small version of you is like a little hologram. And you're going to go ahead and bring about the energies that are needed to help an area of your body. And so you may obviously not memorize everything right now, but if I want you to connect with is what area of your body do you get called to work on? So do you want us to